Hey man, it's your boy MMA Habits back at it again with another video. Today we have a tier list for you guys. UFC fighters' worst mentality. What does that even mean? Basically, fighters' mentalities when it comes to taking a loss or their mindset through camp or just their mindset in general. These fighters got to screw loose, not necessarily, but they're just not seeing the full picture. They can't look at the incompetency or something that they're doing throughout their training or just daily habitual habits that take a toll on their career, and they just can't see through that. And when they're questioned about it, they sort of just suppress those thoughts. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Some of these fighters are just their overall mentality. Some, it could just be with a loss. Those people, those guys will go down in the C and the D tier because they don't constantly exhibit these behaviors of a, bad mentality fighter. So let's get right into it. Where do I start off? Let's do a little, we'll do a little benchmark for you. We got Big Rufus. We'll put him in the B tier, and I'll explain why. So, Rufus, he has his training dialed. I kind of made fun of him for, fucking around too much in training and just having too much fun. But other than that, with the way he took that Max Holloway loss, calling it an expedition fight is crazy. Like, I don't know, how could that possibly go through your mind? You lost a fight in the UFC, especially on UFC 300, big main event. Your co-main event, actually. Or no, you were the feature fight, but still, basically the damn near main event took up all the spotlight throughout the whole thing because you got flatlined on your face, and now you're saying it's an expedition match. What are you doing? How could you possibly move forward with you? How could you accept your loss? You're not accepting your loss, so you should be a little bit lower. But just from the remark of it being an expedition match, he could have said something else and still, I would have put him in C or D tier. But calling an expedition match is fucking crazy. You're delusional, my bro. And it makes sense because you look at him in this photo, you would just immediately assume that he doesn't have much going on in his head. So, yep, that's where Big Rufus is. I'll stick somebody else with Big Rufus. It's the same exact sort of deal. He would have been in the C or D tier have he, not said what he said. Essentially, he could have went about it a different way. But Aljo, fucking Aljo, bro, he's never not gonna live that night when he got slept by Sean O'Malley. There's so many excuses from him. Like he's made like 1 hour plus live streams and fucking paragraph monologues of why he lost that Sean. He was rushed into it. Yes, Sean had a broken rib, my boy. You couldn't even get the takedown when you were smudging your head on his rib cage and his torso. You couldn't have just broke his rib right there. But no, you got slept. You can't accept it. And the way he defines it is like, fighters know when they, like, I'm doing a little Joker accent because he's got like the little face paint right there. But he basically essentially said that fighters know when there was a quality loss or win or not. And he's sure that Sean O'Malley knows it wasn't a good win. If you're going to Sean O'Malley's mind, he's viewing that as one of his best wins, my friend, and the whole world views that too. So you're stuck in there with Big Rufus. Have fun with him. You're stuck in the B tier, all right? The higher you are on the tier list, the most egregious your your fuck up is, or your excuse, or your bad mentality is. So I wouldn't say Aljo has a bad mentality. He works hard. It's just that one loss that a little bit of a stain on his mentality. So next, and Shuljabli, I'll put him in A tier because it's not like a repeat thing. Because the last fight, he wasn't really talking crazy. This fight, he was talking crazy. He was coming out for a vengeance. He was fighting for the Indian people, but, he ended up getting slept within, like, 30 seconds, I think, something like that. Very nice photo of him on the ground. It was more so what he said before the fight against this Australian guy. he was saying that he could KO. I can KO Habib in a one round. He gonna take me down? Yes, I can take him down too. What are you talking about, bro? What type of shit? You got fucking pieced up by Mike Breeden, bro. You got broke by Mike Breeden. And now you're getting slept like this. He was looking good in the first few moments. I know it's weird to say because it was 13 seconds, something like that. But what are you... how does that cross your mind, bro? What do you have to say now? What do you have to say now? I saw the video, actually, of him, reacting the loss. Life's good, all this shit. It's not good. It's clearly not fucking good because you're representing all the billions of people, but you get slept in honor of them. Thank you very much, Anshul Jubli. You're fucking up everything, okay, kid? You're disappointing disgrace to the Indian nation. Literally, who's the... other Indian fighter, the women fighter that just lost. She's had a better career than you, and I know your view on women, so yeah, I know you don't like that. It's a hole in your heart, okay? Next, we'll do Johnny Walker. You might be assuming, why is Johnny Walker on this video? Why is Johnny Walker on this tier list? I'll put him in the C. It's more so him just getting back in there immediately after, and some of the sparring clips I see of him. How do you get slept by a 17-year-old? Only when you throw big meaty hooks in a boxing gym against a boxer when you're not a boxer and you're not good at boxing. So that's Johnny Walker for you. He was about to take another fight. I'm glad he pulled out of the fucking thing because he would have actually died. All right, I don't know how this dude's equilibrium is. His balance is very interesting, and that's pretty much it. That's why he's in the C tier. He's not very egregious. It's just some of his decision making. It's a bad mentality to constantly get back in there when you have the chin of Johnny Walker. He needs to make some, career choices. Maybe go to heavyweight, do what Kennedy Nzechukwu and Ryan Spann. Maybe not Ryan Spann's a good example, but yeah, maybe adopt what they're doing. You've had enough at 205, my friend. I think you're big enough for heavyweight. So there's nothing really egregious, just his mentality on staying at 205. That's pretty much it. I'm sure he trains very hard. Maybe not the smartest training, but that's different video that I already created. So next, we'll do something egregious. We'll put him in the S tier. Marlon Chito Vera. This picture represents what happened that night, okay? He got beat the fuck out of that whole time. His coach in the corner was like, listen, he's already up. The judges are just going to give it to him anyway. You're getting beat the shit out of. Your fighter's getting beat the shit out of. Where's Leon's coach when you need him, bro? You need to let him know. Be like, hey, you're fucking losing this fight. Go piece him up or something. Take him down. Like, break him. Do something. But no, you're sitting here with this defeatist mindset, being like, oh, I already lost, and all this shit. Then you come out after the fight talking about, oh, if that fight was, much longer, we would have broken him, we would have finished him. Bro, the only reason why Sean O'Malley stood in front of you and did that and let you hit that liver shot that did actually hurt Sean was because it's the end of the fight. He let you have that, big bro. He could have just stayed on the outside, hit you with a couple more straight punches, and that would have been the fight. But no, he tried to be Max Holloway, didn't work out, and he got liver shotted for it. And you're never gonna, you know what I mean? You're never gonna see what actually happened in the fight. Rather, you're just like, oh yeah, I nearly broke him at the end. I nearly broke. You got broke for like 24. You got broken for 24 minutes and 45 seconds, my friend. You got obliterated throughout the whole time. He took your chin with you. All right, I sound like the biggest Sean O'Malley glazer right now, but it's true, bro. People forget, man. Chito Vera had a little breakdown over that. So that's the mentality of Chito Vera. You can understand why. Okay. Next, we'll do. People, they ain't gonna like this one. They are not gonna like this one, my friend. But we'll put him in the same tier as Johnny Walker. Not the same offense, criminal mentality, UFC fighter offense. It's just the way he took the Islam loss. He was saying that wasn't me out there. Then he proceeds to have the fight with Arman Tsarukyan. I'm sorry, my friend, but that's just you against the brothers or anyone with Dagestani or Caucasus wrestling, okay? He does have a bit of a cope mindset for that Islam fight. I love Charles, and it's really hard to, look at some of his actions and whatnot. He doesn't do anything bad other than that. He trains hard. It's just that one moment with that, reacting to the Islam fight and seeing what he had to say wasn't the best. A lot of these fighters you'll see on here, it's just one loss. That's why he's in the C tier. I don't want to put him in the D tier because it was a bit cope. So you know what? I'll put Johnny Walker in the D tier. He's just not he doesn't have these criminal offenses like he's not delusional about losses like Charles or Aljo or Justin and whatnot. So that's more fair to Johnny. Let the man rest. He's had enough dissing and whatnot and being put at the bottom of tier lists. So let's move on to the next. Who's not super egregious, but egregious? We'll do a Khalil Roundtree. Very nice image right there of him back in the day. And Khalil Roundtree prime right there. It's more so, the reason I put him up here in A tier, you might be wondering why. Why does he have this? Well, first of all, he's a crybaby ass bitch. He does cry a lot, so as soon as you do that, you're just viewing yourself as less, so that's already B tier. What puts him in A tier was the way he handled the Alex Pereira loss. It was cool, it was funny, like, it's good to accept defeat and whatnot, but there's a fine line between accepting defeat and just humiliating yourself and just making that your personality trait. Oh yeah, I lost to Alex Pereira. He made a whole ass song about it. That was cool. You should have just left it at that. If a man defeats you in a championship fight and you feel like you need to do that, yeah, that's humility. But he just kept dragging it. And that weird Snapchat post, that puts him in A tier, bro. The one where he had like the filter and he was crying when he got hit by Alex Pereira. I don't know if he likes that shit, what Alex did to him. And yeah, as soon as as soon as he posted that, I was like, all right, bro, you like that shit. So I'm going to put you in A tier, my friend. You humiliated yourself, kid. So nothing else really much to say other than that as well. And like how he's crybaby about his, past and whatnot. So I'll put him in A tier, okay? Next. Who do I do next? I'm saying this every single time. I have to move on, but we'll do Tai Tuivasa. I know it feels like he's not really in the UFC. I'm not even sure he's cut. I think he's still in there, but I don't know if he's going to ever fight again, judging by this photo. I'm going to put him in... We'll put him in... Here's the thing. He should be in C tier because, he's not delusional about any of his losses. But his mindset when it comes to training and just outside of combat, he's just useless. So I'll put him in B tier. Because if you ever seen him out of camp, first of all, his motivation's been dying because he's been fucking losing. That's very natural, especially for the Western man. Now he's up to like 400 plus pounds. I remember when he sparred Alex Pereira. Before that, he was talking about how he hadn't trained for over 2 months. I'm like, what are you doing? How are you a UFC fighter under a UFC contract, not training whatsoever? Do you want to lose your job? I know he's probably making money elsewhere. That's probably why he's not, fully committed anymore, and he's just using that oh yeah, I was UFC fighter at some point and whatnot as his celebrity ticket in Australia. So I don't blame him. He could be lower, but still, come on. Just the training and, getting fat as shit and everything. So that's Tai for you. It's nice to see him on a UFC-related thing because everyone's kind of forgotten about him. So next, we'll put Leon Scott in the A tier. You can kind of see it right there. He's got a dent in his head. I was, finding photos and whatnot, and I was like, yes, this is perfect for Leon Scott. The shut the fuck up, bruv, when your coach is giving you that fucking speech. I would pay to have a coach like that, giving me that yap fest every round, even if I'm winning or not. He's just going to yap in my corner. Come on, Leon, bruv. Son, no, don't let him bully us, son. all this shit, bro. Yeah, and then he was like, you gotta pull it out, Leon. And Leon's like, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, why would you ever tell your coach? You're just that frustrated and that less of a man that you have to do that, bro. And not to mention the shit with Bilal before. He's like, oh, bro, he's not deserving, bro. And Bilal's like, bro, we're in the same you were in the same situation, bro. Why are you being a hypocrite? And then Leon's like, bro, I can't comprehend, bro. And he was trying to back himself up on the Joe Rogan podcast when Joe was, questioning about it. He had nothing to say, like, oh, bro, like nothing else. There's nothing much going on in Leon's head, especially after that Sean Brady fight. He thinks he's like he still thinks he's him. He still thinks he's headshot dead. He's not. You're not, kid, okay? The way he was trying to sun Sean Brady, talking about his height and whatnot. That line from Sean Brady was cold. It's like they're all the same size on their back. That was cold. The way I said it didn't make it cold, but it was cold in the moment when you saw it. So that's it for Mr. Leon Scott. Nothing really else to explain. You can see why, okay? Next. This guy's not a fighter, but he is a coach. The same thing with Chito Vera, but I haven't really seen it from Conor. It's John Kavanagh. He's the biggest yes man I've ever seen. I seen a video on this, and this kind of motivated me to make this sort of video. The way he talked about the Khabib and Conor loss was like crazy to me. There is no form of criticism whatsoever. They only talked about what they did good or what they didn't do in camp. If you saw the corner work from him and Khabib, Conor's dying in the corner. Like, he's having a hard time. I don't think it was the Khabib. It was the Dustin. He's getting his calf chewed up. I think it was the first fight. And he's telling him, like, listen here, Conor. Just step back with the left hand. That's it. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. You couldn't say, like, listen here, Conor, focus up, get your leg going, like start checking in and firing back, right? Nothing. None of that. Like, no motivational speech. Where's Leon's coach when you need it? Where's the Bomba Clock King when you need him? John Kavanagh has never said no to anyone, and it makes sense because just look where he's at. The only fighter he's really produced is Conor McGregor. He's got some other, like Johnny Walker, but Johnny Walker's literally, like, regressed over time. Okay? And yeah, there's nothing really impressive about him. It's not looking good for Mr. John Kavanagh. Okay? He's the biggest yes man there ever was. There ever will and there ever is. Okay? We'll move on to something else. We'll put Dustin P-Head in the C tier. If you know, you know where this image comes from. Everybody gets a bottle when he fucking starts tweaking. The only reason I put him in here is from his past. It's the way he takes wins. We all know he's a salty motherfucker. Alright? Even with the Chandler's like, dude, you spit in my face, dude. Dude, he's leaking blood in my eye. How you gonna fish hook me, man? All this shit. These crybaby ass. I couldn't imagine how he is at home. He's probably sassy as hell. He's like the female in the relationship. Like, I couldn't imagine Dustin, like, his wife's like, hey, can you just move this, Dustin? It's like, man, why I gotta move this, man? Why I gotta move this, man? Oh, you stupid. It's like, that's Dustin Poirier for you. I can tell that boy a little sassy. Just the way he takes wins, like everyone knows the Dan Hooker situation where he's like, you're gonna beat me up, Dan? You gonna fuck me up, Dan? And he's just on the floor. Dan doesn't know what's going on really. He's looking around. He's like, oh fuck, mate. And Uncle fucking Dustin's yapping in his face. He has nothing to say because there's nothing much going in his head. So that rubbed me the wrong way. For a while I was like, fuck Dustin Poirier. But as soon as that Islam fight hit, I'm like, I don't know. That just goes to show how fickle MMA fans are. I'm sorry. Our opinions change really quick. We think in boxing, as soon as someone loses, the fans like put them to the side. In MMA, it's less, But as soon as somebody loses, we look at them completely different. Like with Alex Pereira, when he lost to Ankalaev, I don't view him the same at all, bro. So it's crazy how our views can change. Back in those days, though, Dustin would have been like A or B tier, because that mentality is crazy. Even to win, like, it's one thing to be salty when you lose, but salty when you win, that's a spiteful, angry man right there. That man is angry, okay? So he simmered down a bit, the testosterone's been lowering, so he's calmed it down a notch. So we'll put him there. Next. You know what? I'll put Patty in the A tier. Some of his offenses are egregious. First of all, the gluttony needs to stop. I know it's a eating disorder potentially, which I think he probably has, from starving yourself constantly and then re-eating again. Especially for the Western man in England, they have to live in luxury. But just the way he treats his body outside of camp and just constantly eats junk food and rebloats him. That's not good for your hormone levels or just your bodily function, just switching back and forth. They could give your body shock. But it's not only that. What put him in the A tier was the way he's talking about Ilia Topuria. People are like, oh yeah, Pate. Well, that would be so cool to see him against Ilia. It wouldn't be cool to see him against Ilia, because I wouldn't want to see him get the opportunity, because the way he's talking about it is like some salty ass motherfucker, bro. He's talking about it in the same sense as Izzy and Alex Pereira. Like, Izzy's being salty, Patty's being salty. You know what I mean? The way he talks about Ilya, he's like, oh, he's not good, mate. He's like, lad, he's not good, mate. I wasn't. That's like a Leon accent, but he's clearly good. He's clearly better than you. He clearly can knock you out. And now you're talking crazy like this. You're literally, like, at some point, I remember when that situation happened with the sanitizer bottle, Patty was looking down on him. And now the El Matador is looking down on him, my friend. And now Patty's grasping for straws, trying to come for anything against Ilya. Really, bro? Really? Look at you down. He's up, my friend. That's spite. That's envy right there. So Patty, he's very envious to Ilya Topuria. I would be too, to be honest, if I was him. But that's why he's here. He's not me, and he's doing it, so he's on the tier list. So that's it for Patty. Nothing really else. That's why he deserves A tier, okay? Who do I put? We'll put Kevin Holland in the... Put him in the S tier, right? We all knew that was coming. This kid's mentality is horrible when it comes to fighting. He doesn't try, and as soon as he says that to him, he's never, like, when he loses, it's okay. When he wins, it's okay. You first of all, we know you're not good enough, even if you tried. And since you're supposedly not trying, it's just like a cop-out, clearly. Like, if you go through your career like that, I would just cut him if I was Dana. Like, I would just get rid of this cancer. I know they pay him a lot, and, whenever his contract runs out, just get him out of there, bro. Like, they want, the UFC wants him to be something else when he's not. He's never going to be good at anything, really. Oh, Jesus, I'm not saying that. He's not going to be good in the UFC. Oh, my God. That was a personal attack against Kevin Holland. I'm sorry. But the 45-70 thing, like, he's just become so unlikable as a person as well. I couldn't imagine him in the gym. Like, he probably doesn't really train that hard. Unk's losing his mind. Kevin Holland is losing his marbles before our very eyes. He knows that he's become unlikable now. It's kind of crazy. He was so cool for a while. I'm like, for a while, I'm like, yeah, I like me some Kevin Holland. He's dope. No, not anymore, big bro. He's lost it. He's absolutely lost it. I don't really have anything else really to say, because that's been going on for years now. Years and years. It's sort of a regurgitated take. Everyone knows the deal with Kevin Holland. So I don't really have to say much other than that. I just gave you the summary right there, okay? We'll do Volk in the D tier. I know, horrible picture. I seen it, so I had to put it there because it ruined my day. So now I'm going to ruin your day. Thank me, okay? should be a little bit higher, in my opinion. But we'll fill in a spot at D tier, and I'll explain why he's here. First of all, the way he took the Ilya loss, it was all right. He was still like, it wasn't me in there. It wasn't the best form of him there. Like, I know people are saying, Volk looked good, Volk looked good. He didn't really look good to me for my initial watch, because I saw it. I'm like, first thing I saw, I'm like, Volk's about to get KO'd. He's jittering around. He's jumping in, throwing these like flimsy ass kicks. They were fast kicks, but they looked flimsy against Ilya. When it came to hitting him, it did like no damage to him whatsoever, and he's exerting all this energy, and then Ilya is just sort of just marching, plodding around a bit, tagging him up, using a lot less energy. So that's a little bit of a minus. But also, the way he was going around that time period, I know it's like a mental health thing, and like fighters, they believe they need to be constantly doing something, and when they're not doing it, it puts them in a depressive state. It's like, when he took the Islam fight, he was basically coming off the couch. He was like, I was having beers. I was doing me fucking head in. Literally. Like, it was doing his head in. He was drinking the drink. He was off the scissor. He wasn't training. He takes the Islam fight out of basically, I've got to get back in there. I have to break the cycle. So it's really sad to see that, and that's why he's kind of on the tier list, because he did have that moment where he was like, he gets KO'd by Islam and he wants to jump back in there against Ilya. That is a midlife crisis right there. That is the definition of midlife crisis. If Volk's loved ones and his trainers, they probably saw something a little different in him at that period of time. They probably should have stepped in and helped him instead of being a yes man and just probably, yeah, Volk, you go ahead, mate. I know he's a grown-ass man. He can make his own decisions, but someone has to tell him. Like, listen here, bro. You're, like, deteriorating your mental right now with the way you're thinking. So, at this point, he would have been a little bit higher, but at this point, he's kind of shaking it right now, and it's looking good for Volk. He's going to become the featherweight champ now, since he's fighting Diego Lopez in a dead division, might I add. But we don't have to say that, okay? Volk's still the champ. Next, I'm going to put... You know what? We'll do Ian Gary getting mogged by a Shavkat right there. We'll go in the C tier. Because I might have to move some stuff around at the end of the video. But reason he's in C tier is just the way he took the Shavkat loss and whatnot. And even outside the cage for a while, getting clowned, and like the way he views fighters and like gym hopping and all this stuff. That's not a really good mentality. Like, I understand why Leon kicked him out of his gym, or his coaches kicked him out of the gym. But also the way he took the Shavkat loss, he was like he took it good. I'm like, yeah, all right. Like, yeah, you went in there with the baddest man and whatnot. And then he kept repeating it. So it's like that Darren Till syndrome. He's basically convincing himself that he won, but he didn't really win. He's like, I won. You didn't win, bro. You kind of got sunned a bit. You got kind of exposed. What he exposed more is the vegan diet. Because why are you on a vegan diet? His speed has literally regressed. Everything, his skill has regressed because he's on a vegan diet and he has no energy whatsoever. So that's Ian Gary for you. He should be a bit higher, but we'll readjust. So he's getting mogged right there, and yeah, you can see why. Just sort of the same category as Aljo and Justin, maybe a bit of Volk and whatnot. Just not accepting that one loss. Okay, I mean, he did sort of accept it, but he saw it as a win, and then that's when it starts to look a little fishy. So, next, this cat, he's kind of simmered down a bit. I'll say, I'll put him in A tier. It used to be an S tier because the cope this man had when he lost to Alex Pereira was insane. Like, he was talking about how he had him on the ropes constantly, and he just figures out a way. You got done up, my friend. And then he sort of slowly humbled himself as he was losing. Sean Strickland fight after. He accepts it, sort of. He, goes away from the pressure, so not really accepting it at all. Then he goes to the Drickus fight. He's like, all right, I accept it, but he doesn't accept that Drickus is the African king. That's a different topic, but And then he loses to Nasruddin, and now he's just like, I just want to chill and just enjoy life. I like Izzy now, kind of. I fuck with him. I would hang out with him. It's really fucked up to say that as he has that image right there. If you know, you know. I would genuinely question him about that if I saw him. I would want to see the look on his face. I would want him to break down why he's like that. So that's it really for Izzy. We all know he had that shitty mentality. He was kind of stuck up his ass when he was winning for a while, and now he's kind of humbled. So we'll put him in A tier because, you know, prime Izzy, prime, you know, horrible mentality Izzy, he would have been an S tier because he was an egregious offender in terms of respect and just bad mentality as a fighter. So we'll move on to the next guy. There's only 3 people left, so we'll stick Darren Till. No excuses, lad. No excuses, lad. But the better man won on the night. I felt like I won that fight. You know, we both won. You did not both win. Okay, let's get that straight. You did not both win. I'll put him in the B tier for now. You know, if he was like currently fighting, he would be A tier because he would always have something to say. It was just mostly when he lost to Robert Whittaker and whatnot. He just kind of broke himself. He kind of got broken as a man after that Tyron Woodley fight. The way he viewed himself before wasn't the same, and now he's, you know, kind of views himself as less, but he's coping at the same time. It's really odd to watch when you look back on it, but sad as well because he was so talented. But yeah, everyone knows about Darren Till. No excuses, lad. He had to be featured on this tier list because how do you say no excuses and make excuses? So that's a trait of a bad mentality fighter right there. I think we all can look through that. We all seen the Lucas Tracy excuses tier list. Mr. A tier right there. All right. We got 2 more people. You got Payne Tabbitt. All right, Payne Tabbitt. I'll put him in C tier because, though, you know, we'll talk about the God stuff as well. I'm not really a huge believer in God. You know, I accept him, and like I didn't like, you know, he's good. God is good, but the way he was talking about it, he's just like some Satanist, bro. Like how I could never go out of my way to diss God like that, and yet he found a way to do so. So he's going to go in the C tier. And also just the vaping and the pole dancing and the lifestyle. Like, that's not the mentality of a fighter. You should be constantly focused. And clearly, if you're getting done up like that by Ronnie Barcelos, I know he's young in his career and he can come back and he has potential to be top 5, maybe champion. So, not egregious yet. We haven't really seen him enough in the spotlight to see how he would really, really take a loss. He took it well. He kind of made a meme out of himself. It was funny. But just, you know, I would say outside cage things and some of the things he says has to land him on this tier list because it's just an egregious offense, my friend. Next, the last one. He's not a UFC fighter, all right? I'd be like, why is he on this tier list? Why is he on this tier list? He has to go in the S tier, okay? You might assume who it potentially could be. It's a boxer. It's Devin Haney. We all knew this was coming, maybe. Actually, no, you would not know this is coming because this is a UFC channel. We all know what happened. Ryan tuned him up. Devin was actually training. Ryan wasn't. And the way they went about it, first of all, filing lawsuits, basically the fucking scat or I forgot what is the gym they train at, but that trainer or the guy who owns it is basically the guy who, you know, got Olympians to bypass all the doping tests, and now he's the Nevada commissioner, and he, you know, decided Ryan Garcia's supplement or his thing was tainted, right? He did actually have a certain amount of ostarine, but that's for something else. Suing a man after getting beat up and humiliated like that is fucking insane. How do you do that? Like, how do you just ruined your whole reputation? Like, you're now fighting on the undercard of Ryan Garcia. Like, unless he's he's just doing that for money, bro. We all know he's just doing that for money. He's a sellout, clearly. Because if you're doing all these lawsuits, Ryan, how are you gonna be on the undercard of his like main event, which is crazy? Like how? So we all know the deal with Devin Haney. It was kind of drawn out. It's been like over a year now, or maybe not over a year, but close to a year now. He didn't accept the loss very well. This is a great example. I'll put him high S tier because that's an example of what you should not do. That's the worst mentality, especially when coming into a loss. He managed to get into S tier simply by one loss. So that shows what timing Devin Haney's on, all right? That's it for the video. Hope y'all boys enjoyed. I'll be more consistent with my content. I know I said I had this tier list coming out about 2 weeks ago. It's been some time. I've been focusing on some other things. Got social media coming. TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. So you can follow me on there as well, by the way. It's MMA_habits on TikTok and Instagram. And I do have a personal training account on Instagram coming out. So look out for that. If you're an upcoming fighter and you want to level up your game and your training, go follow that. It's G Money Combat, all right? G Money_combat, okay? That's it for the video, y'all boys. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.